recording. The date is...
Well, last I checked, it's November the 30th, unless it's different over there.
No, it should be the same here. It should be the same here, and it is. So yeah, and well, we're running on a. We had a bit of technical difficulties, and long story short, Skype doesn't work for me anymore because reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That still bothers me. But point is there. We kind of missed last week because we all kind of just abandoned this at the last moment.
Yeah, but, I had everything timed so I could go. Yeah, I will be home before the show will start, and 5 minutes before I leave, I get this phone call that I have to stop off by someone and pick some stuff up, and that fucked up my schedule so bad that I went, no, I'm not gonna make this. Fuck it.
And I was asleep, so.
Oh well.
These things happen.
Yeah. But...
So, Jared, what have you been doing? Let's just kind of pick whatever you want to do with that.
What I've been doing? I have started my new work. I'm a janitor. I'm a janitor at 2 places now instead of 1. I do a bit of this and a bit of that. You know, handyman.
Ah.
Liberal use of duct tape where it is needed.
I see.
Yeah, and gameplay-wise, I've been playing some Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I have just today installed Crimson Skies, and I'm just in a kind of retro mode.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure. Crimson Skies is that game for? Is it for the Xbox or is this a PC thing?
It's both for the Xbox and the PS computer.
I think it's the airplane game, isn't it? If I'm wrong, then right.
Yeah, and it's one of those games. It's a fun kind of simulator-ish flight game.
No, I've heard very little about it, so
You're an air pirate. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. That is interesting. But let's see. As for me, yesterday I went to a Renaissance festival.
Oh. You might see people as beard as me.
Well, it's it can very much seem like it's kind of like this thing where you just go and you throw your money at people. You buy food, you buy items at increased prices because they made it themselves. People do comedy routines and you give them tips. It actually is it's actually very enjoyable because they're all really, they really try hard on their everything that they do.
Yeah, they try to keep it genuine.
Yeah. One of my favorites is this one where there's these 2 people who they do these rules of dueling, and one of their main things is that, oh well, you can heckle us, but we're gonna heckle you back, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kind of comedians are actually some of the funniest.
But to kind of just go through a Cliff Notes thing, I was going to try and talk about mother cognitive dissonance, but we're kind of on a tight schedule. I'll just kind of run through anything that I've done, anything recently. Within these last 4 weeks, I've beaten Psychonauts, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, and Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and Muramasa the Demon Blade, so... I've been kind of rolling through a bunch of games recently. I picked up. I'm running through Scribblenauts. I'm on the last world on that.
Okay.
So, most of that's gets pretty difficult, especially when they end up giving you this sort of you have 3 platforms and barriers that if you cross them, then the starite explodes or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't like the first Scribblenauts, so
It's one of those mean games.
very much. But let's this week's topic was going to be about suggestions for holiday shopping.
Yeah. And any ideas goes, really. I mean, we aren't just exclusively talk about games and what games you can get for people, but we're gonna end up there anyway.
To me, it feels like there. Unfortunately, I live in a group. I have like a group of friends that are all like nerds.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know if all of them have video games. It basically just kind of comes down to, well, I can just kind of figure out their interests, buy them an action figure or a doll, and and depending on if they have a video game console, I could buy them that, and if that doesn't work, just get a gift card, I guess, and have them figure it out.
Yeah.
They're all like adults; they can kind of figure it out themselves. To me.
Yeah, I mean, I have the problem that I can't really get to a gift shop easily for most things, and I don't think that getting a some kind of what do you call it, a gift card for anyone in the area for the hotel just down at the village, that would be kind of beside the point, I think.
Me, I have the it's almost kind of the opposite problem. I'm like, you just go down take a couple turns, and then you're right on, like, restaurants and stores everywhere. Imagine that.
Yeah, we have that too. It's just that I don't think it makes for really good Christmas gifts.
Well, yeah, that too. That's just kind of a last move desperation thing.
Yeah.
If you're pretty much if you're buying for a kid, it's always a safe bet to either buy like an action figure or a doll or something like that. They probably for my friends, mostly I would just kind of I would have to keep keep an eye on what they actually have when it comes to board games, because they all really like board games, role playing, tabletop games.
Yeah.
Like Elder Sign or
Arcane Horrors.
Arcane Horrors and stuff like that. But here's something that's always interesting now that I'm living out by myself and I have to like pay for all my own stuff. And basically I can pay for all my own stuff, and I can just go to if I want something, I can go anywhere I want and buy it. That when you were a kid, and when your grandparents and your your uncle or your aunt come up and give you this gift, and it's a big rectangle box, and you tear off the wrapping paper and you open it, and it's a sweater, underpants, and socks, and you're just
as I've grown older, I have started to appreciate those things more and more and more.
Yeah, it's like that. When you're a kid and you see that, it's like, yeah, thanks, I guess. Put that over there. And get the actual presents out of the way. But when you're an adult and you can buy your own stuff, you get this stuff and it's like, oh, this is just exactly what I want. My socks have holes in them and and I need a sweater because the one I used to wear is has a broken zipper or something. So this is perfect for me.
Yeah, I winning comes with me is always rag socks, just because I go through a lot of those things in the winter, because it's cold and this cottage is a bit drafty.
It's sort of the same for me, but that's because I walk everywhere in the house in my socks, so they go through a lot of wear.
Yeah, and so long johns is also appreciated. I mean, it gets cold here.
I think
But one interesting thing you could do if your friends is all nerds is check what the old game consoles they have and see if you can find anything. And chances are you can just pick something up if it looks weird, and they will probably appreciate it.
Yeah, like yeah. If you look like on any like purchase like Amazon, eBay, anywhere where you can buy something, just look up an random old game, and as long as you just avoid that sort of, oh hey, you can buy this game new, you just give me $100,000, it'll be yours. You can like find something cheap, like probably, like I would say that like $30 is like at the most that you would probably be able to. I might be wrong, but I would be, depending on like how badly I wanted it. But you can probably find like some sort of obscure game that you can still work on one of these consoles for like a cheap price, and the chances are, depending on how you like, if they haven't talked about it, they probably don't have it. So, I mean, and plus, depending on how close or like how much they talk about it, you might already know what they have and don't have.
Yeah, I mean, and you haven't, and the thing with the nerdy friends is also that they will appreciate most stuff. Just make sure the name isn't make sure the game isn't E.T. for the Atari, and you should be fine.
Yeah. I mean, like, even I would appreciate Superman 64, but I have my reasons for that one.
But that's one of the cases. It's so bad, it's good.
Right.
Okay, for some kind of novelty, I think it would be interesting. But when it comes to things like that, you can buy whatever, and people will feel appreciate it.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
Another thing you could get for as a Christmas present, if you can find it relatively cheap, is a adventure of some kind.
Venture?
Yeah, test drive a Porsche on an iced lake, skydiving. People apparently like those kind of things.
I don't know. I'm from Louisiana. We don't exactly go around jumping out of cargo planes very often.
Maybe you should try it.
I don't know if anyone actually gets on the cruise ship in here, but we have a cruise ship sometimes. That kind of broke my train of thought. Well, you know, if all else fails, you can always try the old, you can always go down to Bed Bath & Beyond, go down and look around and try to find this one particular item, a luchador bottle opener.
What?
Here's the, actually, friends of my roommates ended up just getting it for a bridal shower because one of my friends is getting married, but like it just kind of, they just noticed it and it's like, we gotta get this, and it's like a luchador in like with his hand to like on his hip, so that like you could just put the bottle in there like it's a headlock and just pop it open.
Nice.
If all else fails, get like like some really unique and cool looking item, and even like for an adult that would be like really interesting, and because like anyone has a bottle opener, but few people would actually have something that they can show people and they're like, oh wow, that looks really cool or weird or something like that. I mean, you can just get anything bland looking, but to have something that looks interesting and you want to show off, that's something I would say is really special. But, you know, I might be talking to somebody who just likes really boring things.
Yeah. Also, another great tip is to give them some kind of book if you have read something interesting lately.
I'm not meaning you. You're not boring.
Uh, no,
Hey,
I didn't mean it like that. It was more that I have.
Jer,
Yes,
there is how for recommendations. How about we recommend The Damning Moths?
I recommend that strongly. Yes, I was coming to that. You read my thoughts,
Great,
good sir.
penned by author Ashley Schuerman.
I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce that name. That's a good read. People should buy that book.
I have actually started reading that myself because it kind of it kind of keeps me like my mind focused while we're playing like the tabletop like we're playing role playing games on Friday. So while everyone else is just kind of like, okay, we're just kind of doing our own thing, and I'm new enough that I don't have my own things that I'm going around doing yet. Or like if we're playing this long drawn out battle and everyone else is having their turn, I just like read a few pages and then just kind of like I have to go and react, I just place a bookmark somewhere and close it in a moment.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I would. It seems rather exciting so far, and I guess the only thing I would say that is somewhat strange would be that it goes really fast. Like, the stuff on the back of the book when they talk about, oh, this stuff is going to happen and all these things are going on right now, I think there's only one thing they haven't immediately brought up within the first 4 chapters of the book. But
well,
even then...
what I read from it is pretty exciting, and I don't think we should spoil too much.
Yeah,
really.
I'm keeping that as far away as possible. But
Yeah.
it seems... But all the characters are well written, as far as I can tell, and it's kept me interested. And for someone who never reads books, it's been a long time since I've actually, like, read a book that's not for school.
Yeah.
That to me, like, I suppose it would mean something.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my sister already finished it, and she enjoyed it. Occasionally, I kind of point out where I am in the book, and she's just kind of, and she doesn't say anything in response, so I don't know what that means.
I think I know what she might be referring to, but I haven't been able to read the book too much because it has been a eventful year for me, and I haven't had the time to sit down and read a good book. Also, I could do it before I go to bed, but then there is the limitation of practicality to have a night lamp at a bed close to the ceiling. I haven't found the end table high enough.
I have this lamp I've owned since I was a kid, actually.
Yeah, well, I haven't, and it sucks, let me tell you.
Right. I'm just remembering. That wasn't even to you. It was just like, oh right, I have this thing back here.
Yeah, another book I just found. The day we actually should have recorded the last podcast was a book called "What Would Keith Richards Do?" And it's one of those. I wouldn't call it self-help books, but it's one of those good advices and tips from a rock and roll survivor.
Is it something like, do not do cocaine and then go right out on stage and then smash your guitar on the drummer's face?
I don't think that particular subject have come up, but drugs are referred to.
That may also be. I may also be offending you as someone who does music yourself.
No, it's okay. One of the best tips I have in that book is do not taunt the drummer. Seriously.
I can see that.
They have that timing down, and when when that fist hits your face, you're gonna go out flying.
Ah. What else? Um.
Oh, and if you're an uncle or aunt or something like that, have nieces and nephews, something awesome you can get for them is RC vehicles, cars, helicopters, that sort of thing.
I might not be the best example of well, the thing is, the problem is that when I was a kid and and I believed in Santa, but I was also like kind of a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
So what actually happened was I would like when my parents were like, "Okay, let's write a list for Santa." And the truth was that they were really just getting something so that they could go to the store and like buy everything for themselves and then lay it out in the dining in the living room floor. But me, I ended up putting in 26 different items. Like, they made a point to say, well, he's not getting everything on that list, you know that, right? They didn't say money, it was like he has a limited amount of time to go in here and drop stuff off. He doesn't have the effort or ability to, put everything around. And also, it depends on how good you are.
Yeah, also, you have to remember, you have limited space in that sack, dude. There are more people than you that's gonna have their Christmas presents.
I got everything I wanted, important. Most of the stuff that ended up being on the bottom rung was action figures and stuff like that. So, wait, what did you recommend again? Shit.
Yeah, RC
Oh
vehicles.
yeah, that's how I got back on this. Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm butterfingers in mind.
Do be careful. Do be careful though. If it is something flying, like one of those small helicopters, make sure that they are relatively easy to disassemble in case someone gets one of those stuck in their hair.
RC cars aren't that much safe either. I got bunches of RC cars when I was a kid, but usually how anything remote controlled and battery operated would work is that I would run it and play with it until it ran out of batteries pretty much, and then it would go in the toy box forever. Or I would use it without the RC controls, because somehow small things always got lost.
Yeah, they always do.
Game pieces would always disappear. Small toys would never show up again.
Yeah.
We would leave stuff all over the floor and have to pick it up, and then there would be one piece that's never there. And the cover for the battery, for the remote control battery cover, is not there.
Yeah.
And eventually, I would just start playing with it without the controller. But there is one thing. To be fair, I'm not that great with. No, how this starts like this, and that I was playing with the. One of the RC cars, in that, it was in this, the extra room, we called it, because it was this pink walls, carpet, and it was on the second floor where me and my sister had our bedrooms. But while I was playing, I drove it around, and it ended up, hitting this door. Now, I didn't notice anything wrong at the time, so I was just like, oh, I'll just take this off and keep playing it. And I don't know if it's actually what caused it, but it's something I didn't figure out until years later. But I forgot, because it's a long time and my memory's a little fuzzy. But my dad had noticed that there was a hole, no, not a hole, a dent in the doorway.
Yeah.
And he grilled us both for this, and we didn't know what was going on, and we didn't know what that was about. And he just kind of dropped it, I think. But years later, it's I hit the door with an RC car. Could it have broken that door? I don't know. Just one of those things that just kind of... To be fair, I did have a propensity for damaging things, but I don't know if I wouldn't... It seems like that door was too sturdy for that. But but it was going pretty fast.
Sometimes you just get that lucky shot, and then no one knows how it could have happened. Really, because It's incredible what how much damage you can do with stuff if you just hit it in the right angle.
And of course, getting back onto Christmas presents, when all else fails, you can always go to the flowers for your Valentine option and get a shirt with a funny saying on it.
Yeah, that works too. I mean, everyone loved t-shirts.
Find that one shirt with some sort of face on it from a video game that they may enjoy, or perhaps some sort of line spoken from a TV show.
You can also go with the faces from characters from a TV series.
Or maybe just some weird pop culture thing that anyone who ends up being on the internet is just going to roll their eyes at because they've seen it about 1,000 times.
It's not... I think the base rule of principle here is when a cool line ends up on a t-shirt, it's not cool anymore. And very few people may actually pull those kind of things off by wearing it.
Well, I know somebody who goes and buys shirts all the time, so it's never. I know better than to think to try that. I know good shirt places, and they usually just have their own custom drawings and stuff. One of the shirts she recommended me to a shirt site where it had it was a picture of a fusion between Pikachu and Frieza. And at the bottom it said, "This isn't even my final form."
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. That one's great.
I also ended up getting, because of her, a really good, Okami shirt, where it's I think it's Amaterasu and, a landscape at night or something.
Oh,
okay,
which
looks really cool. But, you just have to go and shop. I guess the ultimate lesson here is that if you need an idea for something, it never hurts to just use your local search engine and try and figure out, try to look through things to see if there's something that catches your eye. And if it does, and if it's, not enormously expensive, then you can go ahead and buy it for the person that you're looking for.
Yeah. Also, and sometimes you can find just that perfect gift for someone. That actually happened my mom and dad when they were out shopping Christmas presents last year. They had this hard time figuring out the crap that was going to get me for Christmas. And then they walked by a record store, and in the window they have this the huge CD compilation of all Johnny Cash CDs.
I see.
I haven't played all of them yet, but I have them.
All of them?
All of them. Except,
how many are on there?
I think it's 33 albums or something like that. And a couple of singles.
Albums?
Yeah,
is that single songs or bunch of songs?
Bunch of songs. That's an album. A single is maybe one or two songs.
So you have 33 bunches of songs.
Yes.
You know, I totally believe Johnny Cash made that many songs.
He did. I think over 80 records, I can say on top of my head.
I mean, I know Queen made, bunches of songs, too. So it wouldn't be out of the question that Johnny Cash would have made a bunch as well. People just make bunches of songs.
Remember, he started out in the years of in the vinyl era, so... you could do a couple. You always had to put out new stuff,
right?
Because you couldn't get too much. You didn't get to. You had to try to keep selling vinyls,
right?
And stuff like that. But it's interesting. Although, and this made me a bit pissed. 3 months later, they released a. Album they had lost. So now I have to go and find that bloody thing. And just tape it onto the side.
Ain't that just... That's sort of great. There's this someone, a musician, and he's long dead, and you buy, his complete album, and then it's oh, hey,
look what we
digging
found
around in his like
in the basement.
his sock
They were
drawer.
actually digging around in the basement, and they found the tapes.
Yeah, and look what we found. We found this tape of him like testing out some equipment and like making
No,
a new song.
this is a full session. He even had
Or, like,
Waylon Jennings on there.
When and like, hey, how about we release that? And it's like, yeah. Michael Jackson's dead, and they end up releasing an album.
Yeah.
Tupac's been dead for it was Tupac, wasn't it? Tupac's been dead for years, and it's like 5 years later. Here, he made one last album before he bit the dust. it really doesn't. I don't know. It gets kind of. You can kind of get annoyed by that when it happens so often, but you know you can't really blame it.
No, you really can't. But I think it's nice. I like that they found the new songs. It's just that it made the complete collection incomplete.
It's kind of how I kind of feel when it comes to video games and DLC sometimes, where it's like you could buy the game and like the DLC, or you could get the complete version in a year's time with everything on it. So I don't know, and save money doing that. So it's not the same thing because it's like if a game existed for 10 years, then you bought it, and it's like, oh, hey, here's these next few stages that they were working on while developing the game, and they didn't release it at the time.
Yeah. Bastards. Didn't that happen with Chrono Trigger, by the way?
Technically. Though it was more like, we already kind of knew about it, they just didn't do anything with it until, like, on the DS version.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna try to see if I can come up with something else for people to get. I mean...
Now, here's the part where I decide to be really expensive and decide to go against everything that I was talking about being cheap and look stuff up by telling you something and also recommending something that might be really expensive.
Ooh.
You see, it has been a couple years. Games have been released, and I have with complete confidence saying that if you have someone who plays video games and has been trying to think about, oh, well, I could try and get a next-gen console at this point, but they could be, broke, or they want to know, they're kind of hesitant. Because personally, it seems like I would recommend to someone who has a lot of money to throw around to someone that they like and they like video games, and if they don't have anything like more recent than a PS3, that right now you wouldn't really be like losing money by getting a Wii U, really. In my honest opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a good. That would be a good gift if you have the money. I mean, much can be said about the Nintendo in recent years, but for one thing, they make funny games, entertaining games.
Right. I mean, they have, like, at this point, they have enough that I would say that you could find something you want in there somewhere. Like, you want online play, you have games to do that. You want to just have a serious single-player experience, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
You want, like, a fighting game that you can play, like, competitively across the world? There it is. You want RPGs? You can buy them in the eShop.
Yeah.
Like,
you have a great many options for that, really.
And I can't really say with full confidence that there's anything exclusive on like the PS4 or the Xbox One that's really that worth it. Well, if they have like a bunch of other stuff.
Truth with a bit of modification, because I check I frequent the PlayStation Network shop, and there are some great deals there. Oh, that's a good idea, by the way. A year subscription for PlayStation Plus.
PS4 is like my second guess, really. because they do have stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not the PlayStation has no games again, because there is stuff on there.
Yeah, they have the stuff,
Yeah.
all the stuff. Music, you can use it as a stream box if you want to watch TV, YouTube, everything.
I'm just saying that as far as variety goes, I feel like the Wii U is solid enough that there's nothing I would say that I would give pause to say. I don't know if they have that yet.
Yeah.
I think it might be the same for the PS4, but maybe not so much.
I don't know really. I can say with a bit of shame actually that what my PlayStation 3 gets used for the most is actually watching YouTube videos.
I think they're missing the fighting game, but I think that it depends on how well the next Guilty Gear is going to do, because that's
Oh, they're
PS4
releasing a
and
new
PS3.
Guilty Gear? Fuck yeah!
Oh, yeah.
No, if I only could get Darkstalkers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but you do have a point. A year's subscription to like PlayStation Plus would be really, especially when they end up having like free games and all this other cool stuff on there.
You get a lot of you get a lot of value for the money.
I'm not foolish enough to go around and say, "Oh, that practically pays for itself," because that
No,
depends.
it doesn't. It doesn't. But it's a great thing because you get a couple of games free for not even half the price.
Yeah.
And as long as you are a subscriber, you're allowed to re-download the games.
Right. So to me, that seems rather. It seemed like a really good, like, interesting, like, deal thing that they did with that.
Yeah, I really like it. And even though they had some issues with the security in the beginning, I think they really shaping up to be a really good game company.
It really does say something that me, someone who doesn't like monthly subscriptions, could consider actually doing that, or consider actually like signing up for something like that.
Yeah, and usually if I find a game entertaining, I make sure I can play it after I have after the subscription for it goes out.
Right. I guess that's how. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You can play it as long as your subscription runs out, but if you really want it, you have to buy it for reals.
Yeah, and they don't take your save file with it, so you can just buy it and then continue playing.
Right.
I'm not real ashamed to say that that's how I ended up buying Dead or Alive 5.
Ah. Well, yeah, that was free
Not
for a
because
while, wasn't it?
not because of that initial thought you had why I bought it.
Yourself. You don't really have to defend yourself on it. The only argument I would say is that it does kind of feel like they don't really treat. It's kind of like they're just kind of taking the piss right now with everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they're taking all the old bosses and bringing them back and making them silly, kind of.
But that's the thing with Dead or Alive. It's silly.
It's silly, yeah.
I mean,
let's be honest.
Tekken try to be serious, but they also throw in silly. Dead or Alive just goes with silly all the way.
Let's be honest. I think the final boss has been like Kasumi again, and I think the final scene for Dead or Alive Dimensions was just the ultimate villain of the game putting on a Tengu mask. So.
To be fair, Tekken did something similar.
But of course, I would still recommend. Of course, I would say that any three of the consoles would be more preferable than buying, if you absolutely hate someone, in Ouya.
That's worse than getting coal.
You were naughty, so... Oh no, am I going to get coal? Worse. You're going to get the Ouya!
No!
The controller feels like it's going to snap in two!
I haven't actually been able to test play the Ouya.
Oh,
I
the
haven't.
games look like they were making them as paint.
Dear God. Well, it's no problem if it's fun games, but I mean, you have to be able to play the games.
Right.
Anyway, do you have anything you want to finish up with? Because I have actually, we were going to talk a bit about the mother game, but I have been damn busy, so I haven't actually been able to sit down and play it.
On one hand, I kind of want to wait until we have, not 30 minutes to talk about it for a while. Because
okay.
I've gotten far enough that I feel like I can make a good first impression idea of how the game is, but I don't want to, just, hurry, I gotta do and talk about stuff right now
okay.
and make this clear and concise points. I want to kind of
Could you at least give us a initial thought about the whole thing?
To me, I guess while I do want to save it for next show, this one, I'll just say that it is really kept my interest, and I really like what they have been doing with, where, the gameplay ideas and what they do with them.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lack of direction of some of the time, but, it mostly just comes down to a look around and try to find something out of place eventually sort of thing. Which I think is sort of the point sometimes.
Yeah. But we can stop there just so we can end it on that thing on a bit of a teaser note.
I see.
Yeah. And punish people horribly for not getting to know what the rest of the thing will be for another, what is it, 2 weeks?
You'll have to find out. Same thing, same time and channel and dude and stuff.
Yeah, no, we'll figure something out.
I'm not gonna do that right now.
Yeah, and I don't really have anything I can add really. As I said, we're starting up tourist season, and from the looks of it, it's gonna be one interesting year. And yeah, kind of like that. I can't get into too much detail on that either, but
to be fair, it's gonna be. It is that time of year for us too, where everyone who shouldn't be driving is out on the road, and police cars are going to be running up and down the street trying to see if they can get anyone for the end of year ticket count. But that makes things rather interesting.
For us, it's the time of the year where everyone is going, "Dear God, it's slippery outside."
Meanwhile, over here we don't have snow, but it's just kind of we're
Oh, by the way, I know exactly what I can finish with now, and that is, if you know anyone living in the Buffalo area, I think they would appreciate a shovel as a Christmas gift. Anyway, I'm gonna end it on that note, just because I think that was funny. So,
right.
I think we can say goodbye now.
All right. See you all later time.
Yeah, something like that.
Terribly.
Bye-bye.